The video game industry has gone from having almost no significant commercial presence prior to the 1970s to erupting into the multi-billion-dollar monolith that it is today. The industry enjoyed a global revenue that came close to $100 billion in a single year, albeit half of that is probably due to mobile gaming. In 2013, video games made twice the revenue of the film industry and have consistently rivaled or surpassed the film industry in revenue in recent years. Video game franchises are fast becoming as ubiquitous and influential as any form of media or entertainment that has preceded them. This has made certain game developers, designers, and industry executives into household names. Some developers, like some games, fade into obscurity. Some gain a niche following, and some become icons. This video is based on the request of commenter Emu4Life, who thoughtfully suggested a theme-based video with informative as well as historical references that focus around a specific video game or gaming franchise. In the spirit of this request, I thought it might be worthwhile to take a stab at a new series of videos that focuses on video game pet projects of iconic gaming developers. For the first attempt, this video will feature Devil's Third, the project that Tomonobu Itagaki, controversial legend of the gaming industry, fought tirelessly to see released. To Emu4Life and anyone else stopping by, I hope you enjoy the video. Devil's Third was a game that was notoriously difficult to find a copy of from local retailers upon its initial release. I was informed by the employees of various gaming outlets that they either had not received any copies or that almost none had been shipped to them. Sound familiar, NES Classic Edition? Months later, I was fortunate enough to stumble upon a used copy in good condition at a local GameStop. Although I did not have enough disposable income at the time to justify the purchase of a used game at $60, I bought it anyway and have never seen a copy in the wild since then. The game was panned critically and had not received much in the way of commercial or publisher support in the United States. So I began to wonder, what was the deal with Devil's Third? Well, to understand that, you need to understand one of its main creators, Tomonobu Itagaki. Born in Tokyo, Japan in April of 1967, Itagaki would graduate from Waseda University's School of Law in 1992 before landing a job as a programmer for Tecmo in the same year. There, he worked on the Super Famicom version of Super Tecmo Bowl, an NFL sports game with cinematic gameplay elements. Itagaki would be mentored by the likes of Yoshiaki Inose, known for his work on Rygar and the original Ninja Gaiden, and Akihiko Shimoji, who was well known for his work on Tecmo Bowl. These two impressed upon Tomonobu the imperative of incorporating fun as the fundamental central tenet of designing a video game. His big break came in 1996 when his flashy 3D fighting game project, Dead or Alive, was released on Sega's Model 2 hardware, the same hardware that Virtua Fighter ran on. From here, Itagaki would quickly rise through Tecmo's ranks and assume the leadership post of Team Ninja, the development team behind the Dead or Alive series, in 2001. It would be Dead or Alive 2 that would bring widespread mainstream success to the franchise, as well as further establishing Tomonobu as a popular and highly demanded game designer. His projects would span successfully across various platforms, with titles like Dead or Alive 3 and 4, the revival of Ninja Gaiden on the Xbox, Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball 1 and 2, Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword on the Nintendo DS, and Ninja Gaiden 2. On a personal level, Itagaki is known for being to the point in his speech, which has contributed to many as seeing him as somewhat blunt or even arrogant. As gambling games tend to be one of his hobbies, Itagaki is often seen wearing dark sunglasses in order to prevent other players from reading his emotions. These sunglasses have become something like his trademark in the video game industry. Success, as it is often wont to do, may have tinged Tomonobu with a bit of hubris, as he left Tecmo in 2008 just before the release of Ninja Gaiden 2 for the Xbox 360 over a dispute regarding the withholding of a substantial bonus. This was done in the wake of a sexual harassment suit levied against him in 2006 by an unnamed female employee of Tecmo. Later, this would be resolved in court, with a ruling finding Itagaki innocent of these charges. However, Both he and the unnamed employee were demoted for mingling personal affairs with their corporate responsibilities. From here, Itagaki and several key members of Team Ninja left Tecmo behind to form Valhalla Game Studios, a video game development, entertainment, and holding company. Headed primarily by Itagaki and Satoshi Kanematsu, the pair would lead the new company and begin development on Devil's Third, which was originally intended to be a Microsoft exclusive, in 2009. Microsoft had shifted its focus towards games that would make use of their new Kinect motion sensor product, so they canceled their plans for Devil's Third and many other titles during that period. Because of Itagaki's successful history as well as good relationship with Microsoft, the company helped to bankroll the newly created Valhalla Game Studio, as well as providing funding for the development of Devil's Third. They also helped to find a publisher for the project by assisting Itagaki in speaking with the representatives of several third-party companies. Eventually, a meeting was arranged with former THQ frontman Danny Bilson. Their initial meeting had a rocky start. Itagaki claimed that they argued for 3 hours in a heated quarrel over fundamental differences in gaming philosophy. Bilson stated that he was only interested in bringing unique games into existence. Itagaki interrupted him twice and attempted to make Bilson give a definition of the word unique both times. At length, Bilson asked Itagaki, "Why are you here?" Unfazed, Itagaki replied, "To show you something unique." Danny Bilson then stood up and requested to play Itagaki's game himself, an unusual thing for a business executive to do. He then agreed to publish the game and reportedly had the contract written up and signed that same day. Unfortunately, sometime after this, THQ closed down as a company. In spite of this, Danny Bilson would continue to collaborate with Itagaki on the Devil's Third project right until the end, even after THQ ceased to exist. The situation for Devil's Third was different than other titles associated with THQ because Valhalla Studios still owned the Devil's Third IP. Valhalla Studios would then reach out to South Korean publishing company Dubik, who promised a multi-platform release for the project, but they too soon went out of business. This did not bode well for Devil's Third, and though Itagaki felt that the importance of Dubik in the success of getting the game released was overstated, the project was nevertheless in development purgatory for many years. Eventually, Satoshi Kanematsu approached none other than Satoru Iwata, then president of Nintendo. Iwata agreed to pick up the project in order to help fill the void of games with strong online functionality for the Wii U platform. Nintendo of Japan would prove to be much more supportive than Nintendo of America. Nintendo of America were unable to find a publisher for Devil's Third and were thus forced to release it as a first-party title. Frustrated by this, Nintendo of America made very little effort to push the game and gave only the minimal support they were legally obligated to give. While noting that Nintendo of America did not give their best effort in selling his game, Itagaki nevertheless claimed that he understood the position they were in with the Wii U and does not wish for anyone to blame the lack of success for the title on Nintendo of America. Itagaki also noted that this seemed to be a symptom of American business and sales practices, which utilize a strategy of setting sales expectations low in order to justify requesting bigger bonuses for exceeding projected sales expectations. This flawed tactic seems to be the prevailing mentality of Nintendo of America's current marketing and sales strategy, attempting to promote more demand for their products by purposely creating artificial scarcity. In the face of so many obstacles, it's practically a miracle that Devil's Third had an official release at all. The critics were not kind towards Devil's Third in the least. This is partly because the project was actually a game that would have been right at home around 2009, but was not released until 2015, making its visuals appear very dated in comparison to other games released during that year. Also, the reviewers were not able to test out the online functionality of the game because Nintendo did not have the servers up for the reviewers. This was a major component of the game that was never fairly considered in the review process. At the time, Itagaki waved all of this off, stating, "People know it's a good game. Fans don't trust reviews of the media, they trust peer reviews more." His response to the critical reception was to merely brush off the haters, and he planned to keep updating and improving the game, much like the way he continued to update and improve Ninja Gaiden on the original Xbox. Unfortunately, he would not get the chance to do this. A Japanese PC version of the game called Devil's Third Online launched in Japan in June of 2016. By March 29, 2017, the service ended. What do I think of Devil's Third? Personally, I think it's pretty fun. The aiming controls are a bit clunky, but I really enjoyed the hilariously over-the-top gore and comically outdated machismo of the main protagonist of the story. The excessive violence and over-the-top finishing moves are also pretty satisfying to execute. It's actually really fun to play, and I'm glad that I bought it. I think that the version of Devil's Third that we got is a long way from what Itagaki's original vision was. The original trailer shows characters wall running, for example. This makes me think that Devil's Third was originally intended to be an innovative fusion between Ninja Gaiden and Call of Duty style games, which I would totally be up for. However, as setback after setback continued to push back the release of this game, it's no wonder that many of Itagaki's original intentions did not make it into the final product. Not to mention the fact that Devil's Third started off using the Darksiders 2 engine, and it was moved over to Unreal 3 for the Wii U. I am sure that Itagaki intended to put more of his original ideas into the game after its initial release in free downloadable expansions like the Hurricane packs for Ninja Gaiden. However, it was not to be. What we did get was an interesting game with an interesting history. A pet project of an iconic video game designer who fought tenaciously for its realization. The fact that it exists at all is a success in my book. That's it for the first video about the pet projects of gaming icons. I hope you found all of this as interesting as I did. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, along with any suggestions for future videos you might have. Until next time, be safe and take care.